Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Going to be playing some more brews for Theros Beyond Death Standard. So we made Mythic rank with Mono Black. I don't think there's any qualifier to top 1200 this month, so I'm just going to brew around, play against some of the top tier decks, see what all the top players are kind of brewing around. So this is a deck I want to kind of play around with. This is an initial draft, never run this deck yet, so there's likelihood that we will be tweaking along the way. Really what we want to take this video to see what works well, what doesn't. So, building around Thassa. Thassa is a very powerful card from the new set. It is Indestructible God, Devotion 5 or more, it's a creature. Otherwise, it just sits there on the side, indestructible. At the beginning of your end step, you exile up to one other target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under your control. So it blinks your creatures at the end of each step, one of your creatures, and can also for 4 mana tap a creature. So we played this a bit in the mono blue version of it. There is a Teamer Elementals version going around where you steal your opponent's stuff, blink it, and then gain control of it. As also you could like blink Risen Reefs and Omnaths and stuff. So we'll play that another day. I picked that up. I was trying it out a couple times. But in this deck here, we're playing blue-white. It's kind of a mid-range grind value. So in this deck here, you have Charming Prince that can recycle your blink effects, gain you life for Scry. Fblthp will draw you cards. You can also blink it with the Charming Prince. Alirios Enraptured is an interesting card from the new set. So it's a 3 mana 2/3. Enters the battlefield tap. It doesn't tap during your untap step if you control a reflection. And basically when it enters the battlefield, it creates a 3/2 reflection token. So with Thassa, you can keep blinking it every turn and making a 3/2 token. So it's kind of like a Blade Splicer style effect with the creature. Some deputies to exile your opponent's permanents. Can get rid of like go wide strategies, lots of tokens and stuff like that. Banishing Light is catch-all removal, very well, really flexible card. Some Teferis in the colors. It works well because we can either bounce our own creatures to reset them. So even if you want to say reset a deputy or something like that, you can do that. And then it kind of plays around instant speed shenanigans. Dungeon Geists is actually something I want to try out, and I think it could be fairly decent in creature strategies. So basically when it enters the battlefield, you tap a creature your opponent controls for as long as Dungeon Geist is in the battlefield. With Thassa, you can reset Dungeon Geist on your turn, so you can tap down multiple like another creature each turn, and then Dungeon Geist is still in play, so it should be able to keep your opponent's creatures tapped. 4 Elite Guardmage draws a card, gains you life. 1 Arcanist Owl fully hits Devotion for Thassa. Can also help find either Thassa's, Banishing Lights, or the Elspeth Conquers Death. So some interaction there. You can kind of dig for cards in the deck. We have God-Eternal Oketra, so it itself doesn't have Enter the Battlefield, but it does have the cast trigger of creating 4/4 zombies. It is a 3/6 double strike that if it dies or gets exiled, gets shuffled back into your library, third from the top. Cavalier of Dawn, I want to try out these Cavaliers. So Dawn, every turn you could just keep blowing up your opponent's best thing. With Deputy, you can reset it and then keep wiping up the tokens. Some Cavalier of Gales on the top end to draw some cards. Elspeth Conquers Death is a card that I initially overlooked and is pretty solid overall. So it's a saga, so you get 3 activations, 1 per turn. So exile target permanent and opponent controls with CMC 3 or greater. So it gets rid of your Teferis. Your opponent has the Banishing Lights and Nissa, whatever it may be. It puts a tax on your opponent's non-creature spell the second turn, costing 2 more. And then its third chapter is you return a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it or an extra loyalty counter. A couple time wipes might seem a little unusual to be playing a board wipe in a creature-based deck, but with time wipe, it's basically value. This is indestructible. You can reset your deputy or the best creature with an ETB and wipe the board that way. And a couple of Agent of Treacheries on the top end to steal your opponent's creatures. Or permanents, sorry, not creatures, permanents in general. Every turn you could steal something. A couple things off the get-go. I want to see if I'm a little bit too much on the top end. We're not playing, I have a Bant version that plays green that has a little bit more ramp with Risen Reef, but I want to try a straight blue-white version first. Mana base, pretty simple. 4 Hallowed Fountains, 4 Temple of Enlightenment, 2 White Castles, 1 Blue Castle. Want to see if with out Fabled Passage. May want to put 1 or 2 in. We'll see how the games go in terms of mana. We are trying to hit triple white, triple blue. So it's something to see over a couple games. Sideboard wise, still kind of new to the format, so we're really just playing good cards to see, and then we obviously tweak based on what's the meta settles. So Devout Decree versus red and black things, still Cavaliers, like Fires decks, still Ember Cleaves, stuff like that, Rotting Registars. Revoke Existence, Exiles, Artifacts, or Enchantments, 2 Vetoes versus Control, Gideon versus more control-y matchups, Mystical Dispute when we need to counter stuff, Narset versus the card draw decks, like so big Hydra Crisis decks, stuff like that, good against control. Ashiok, if we run into graveyard decks, you can exile their graveyard. Shatter the Sky as another removal spell. So the hyper-aggressive decks, we have a way to clear them out earlier. And then Angel of Grace is a way that we can reset our life total to 10 if we need to. So an Angel of Grace, actually this doesn't work the way I think it is. So not you. Let's go probably just another Deputy if we just want to have disruption. It just keeps resetting to 1 life, but if we're not going to be killed on our end step, so it doesn't work the way I want it to. So let's run it through some games. Like I said, first time I'm playing it, so we'll probably do some tweaks along the way. Also kind of helps that our daily is this. So let's play traditional, standard, ranked, and go from there. I think we're at 99%. So we were in the 1400, but ended up dropping, I guess, over time. Haven't been too, because we're not playing for rank this time, I'm not too concerned with grinding out for a high place. Once you're mythic, you pretty much stay the same in terms of the reset. Hand's okay. We don't have any early plays, but we have all our colors. We're on the play. Okay, so if we can dodge like a Thought Erasure or one of the 8 discard cards that Esper has now. Thought Erasure, obviously, so they'll take Teferi, my guess. So his hand's not really well suited against an aggressive or like a control deck. So I'm just gonna scry here, set up our draws. I actually probably want Banishing Light. It gets rid of their threats. Arcanist Owl can help us dig next turn. I don't think I want Fblthp. So it'll be interesting to see if this is Esper or straight Dimir. Okay, so they have Narset. Not too concerned with Narset. Okay, they get another Thought Erasure. So don't give them another card draw here. They can't Kaya's Wrath this turn. Even if they're white, Ritual of Soot does not get rid of Arcanist Owl. We have double Banishing Light. So not in the worst position. Ashiok we have 2 answers for. We can also start making tokens, which is nice. So I think I'm going to take the Narset off the table while we have a chance. It makes our future Fblthps and Elite Guardmages better. Okay, so this might just be Dimir control. Most likely is, because they're playing the Dismal Blackwater. You wouldn't be playing this if you're Esper. That's fine. So we've ended up getting hit by triple Thought Erasure here. We do have a board presence, which is nice. Okay, Agent will be good in the future. Just pass the turn. Really want to hit a Thassa. If we can start Thassaing for either Arcanist Owl, probably the Charming Prince though, just to set up our draws. This is why I like the castles in the deck. If you don't have plays, you can just kind of go from here. That's fine. So this opens us up worse to Ritualist Soot, so I'm not going to play it out now. If they have Ritual, they sweep. Okay, Narset. Narset could dig for Ritual. Because if they just play this, I just get it out of the way with the Banishing Light. Yeah, so they had the Ritual. So here, because I have Thought Erasure, so I can guarantee get rid of Narset. They Thought Erasure. Okay, so let's do this. If they want to activate Narset, they have to kill it. Play Alirios. Just play this tapped. So here they can Thought Erasure. They have to decide between taking the Banishing Light that gets rid of this or take the Agent. I'm drawing 4 Thought Erasures. Pretty gross. Eat to Extinction can get rid of one of these, but it doesn't win them the game. We can't Eat to Extinction this. Okay, so we have Thassa. So I'm doing this before casting Thassa, so that way Thassa resolves. Now we get a token each turn that they have to deal with, and then with the mana we can always just tap this Murderous Rider. Narset does have to dig here. Okay, they get Ashiok. So we'll get rid of the Time Wipe. They're dead on board. Yeah, sweet, sweet, sweet. Opponent really just dirtled there. So in this matchup, probably want Gideons, Mystical Disputes, Narsets. Devout Decree is interesting because it can get rid of their creature base. So Deputy seems like an issue. Fblthp's fine, Charming Prince is fine. Dungeon Geist isn't needed here. Arcanist Owl is too high on the curve. Don't need the Time Wipes. Cavalier of Dawn's not bad. Probably get rid of Cavalier of Gales. Actually, Cavalier of Gales seems really bad with Narsets. And then I think we just go 1 Devout Decree. Alirios was pretty good. So we're basically playing like a control deck, like a mid-control style deck. We might want the owl still, because it can find us Elspeth Conquers Death. I think the problem with the mirror is without like a solid board wipe, you're better off even just going black-white. I'm going to keep this hand. We're on the draw. We can find another land, and all these planeswalkers, especially having multiples, bodes well. So here my guess is they take the Narset. Tell me we just don't draw a land. Scry to the bottom, draw 2. No lands. This could be Narset. Are you kidding me? Yeah, they're just going to go offense here. It's very annoying. A hand with nothing but 3 drops and 2 lands and a scry, and we don't draw into the 3rd. This works better with Elspeth Conquers Death, at least if we ever get to it. Opponent's not really incentivized. Holy shit. That's gross. That kind of invalidates our entire hand. Okay, so they did bring in Thief. So it's worth noting that for future games. We just stumbled on lands here. Let's force them here if they want the Narset. This lets us get the Guardmage down. Actually, probably just Banishing Light. So what we can do is they have Eat to Extinction. Guardmage doesn't even draw us a card here, so let's just get rid of the Brazen Borrower. Dimir can't really get rid of enchantments. Let's just set up the Scry here. If they want to counter, they can. Still not the best if they have another Flash Flyer. That's fine. Thassa's Intervention might be something we want on the side. It's a very flexible card. Puts a bit of a clock on us because we have to do this on the Ashiok here. So they do have an answer actually with Ashiok. Ashiok can bounce our Banishing Lights. The problem is with the Mystical Dispute, it can counter this Elite Guardmage. Another Guardmage on top. Yeah. We stumbled too much that game. Not hitting lands. So this matchup may want us to board a bit different. Teferi's still probably worthwhile. Probably still want the Banishing Lights. Probably want to go up another Devout Decree. Maybe hedge and just go down a Teferi so we're not as poorly situated there. Let's run it back. Hey Quantum, not too bad. We won game 1 pretty nicely. Game 2 we struggled on lands. How's it going for you? Yeah, got a cut. Alright. We have a Scry land, a draw step, and an extra draw step from Fblthp. Let's find out how we miss our third land drop here. Oh my god. Yeah, Thassa's awesome. Drawing a third land has proven to be too much. Are you kidding me? That would have been a great turn to get Teferi down. They likely have a counter here. Really kind of changes the progress of the match. They have Noxious Grasp. Okay, so they have Veto. I think we just poke here. Pass turn. Just kind of silly. This is 2 games in a row, 24 lands. Like, I understand our curve might be a little high, but we've also just drawn poorly. I don't think we want to give him something here. Doesn't feel great using this, but the cards in our hand are probably worth more. Opt is probably the worst card they can hit off Narset. Show me a land. Okay, so they Brazen Borer here. So I think we just... let's attack first. I think I'm more okay with this getting countered. Okay, the Noxious Grasp. Actually, I should have thought about that. Noxious Grasp gets it. I wanted a counter spell. That was kind of dumb on my part. Okay, so they go Ashiok. I could pick it off with the Elspeth here. And then next turn we can tax them. I'm just going to block here. I can also Cavalier. Non-creature spells. Oh, they got the thing. So let's just block here. So chapter 2 makes them cost 2 more to cast. So they could Mystical Dispute this. I think we go Banishing Light first. Get rid of that. And then a Yarrow or Alirios. With this popping off, I can get Teferi back. That's fine. That gets the dispute out of the way. Those are all our lands. So if we get a land, we can also Teferi. Oh, sorry, we can Agent. Narset's pretty sweet. We will put an extra loyalty on it. Let's bounce this. In case we draw a land, we can Guardmage. Do this to draw an extra card. And then next turn we try to drop the Thassa down. Okay, so we got the land for the following turn. So I can lead with Narset to try to... Actually, we can just... if Teferi lives, we're fine. Very impressed with this card. Don't care about Thief. Actually, I will take your Thief. That's fine. So here they don't block. Probably Esper's version is going to be better than this. I just want to see how a blue-white version played out. You get a couple better overall cards, but the mana base is more painful. So I think blue-white would probably be better suited against an aggressive meta. As opposed to... Oh, I'm going to steal their Ashiok. Okay, decent play. I think Teferi's worth more to us. We can play Narset out. Take the Veto. No attacks this turn. Doing what I want now. Play our opponent's win cons. I don't think Thief's that good in this current meta. There's better plays. Sweet. Move to 1140. I'm going to give Arena a quick reset, and we'll play a best of one. See how we do there. And probably wrap it up for that. Do a quick one today. I'll be back with some more budget decks. I posted the mono white devotion one. Let me know between red, green, and blue devotion what budget version you'd like to see next. And then I'll get that up tomorrow. I'll have some more time so we can do a couple budget decks tomorrow, hopefully. Standard ranked. Playing the Thassa elementals. 4 of my deck, or 3 of my 4 decks are Thassa. 4 deck? Yeah, 4 to 5 decks Thassa. It's really good. It's just like every turn an agent, even just like gaining 3 life, drawing a card every turn seems really sweet. Well, I got 3 lands, so snap keep. Really looking for a play on 2 here. Actually, I don't mind that. It's 2 bodies. It plays well with Thassa the following turn. Okay, so mono white devotion most likely. Having an answer to Heliod will also be nice. Daxos. Also, having Time Wipe in our deck, especially in a best of one deck, is really sweet. I feel like you're probably going to see a lot of mono white aggro devotion. Glass Casket. Cool. Really want to hit a land here. Land sets us up for Guardmage. Land. Or just another Guardmage. Just going to pass the turn. This is actually pretty absurd. Maybe we cut one of these, go up a 3rd Fblthp, just as another 2-drop. We kept 3 landers and have drawn 3 mana and then 2 of these. I gotta keep either Linden off the battlefield or, more importantly, Heliod. They're not putting a whole bunch of pressure on us, so I'm not too concerned. Magic. Okay, well, we're just not getting anywhere this game. So the thing is, they can sack the Alseed to give it pro white. I don't know, Quine. It's just silly draws. That's interesting. They didn't sack the Alseed. Okay, so they have a Johnny now, so now we're punished. That makes it a 3/3. Okay, so we got a land. So they can plus a Johnny here. Gains them some life. I think we just do this and then try to play into Time Wipe. It's our way of catching up in this game. If we ever draw 5th line, that is. Because Oketra can block up the board pretty well. And then these Dungeon Geists can start tapping it down with Thassa each turn. Because they're kind of incentivized to plus here. Just take the 4. One day. I'm just keeping lines at this point. Hey Zarval, this is a blue-white Thassa Blink deck with a bunch of enter the battlefield creatures. We played a best-of-3 match so far against Dimir Control, which we won 2-1. The game we lost was due to mana screw. This is the first best-of-1 game we're playing. Thus far, it's been... How would we describe it? We keep getting mana screwed, so it's kind of hard to form an opinion. If you're looking for new decks and you want to play around Thassa, the Teamer Elemental Thassa deck, I've been playing it a bit offline, is very powerful. There's also a Bant version, so blue, green, white. Because we're going to time white. Actually, take 9. I think we take 9. So the reason I'm doing this is I can double attack into Johnny to put it at 1. If they have Unbreakable formation, I just die. So that's not really something we can deal with. Basically want to put it so they can't create a Pridemate token. They let a Johnny die. Yeah. We were dead to that anyways, so there wasn't much we can do there. We'll run it back. Play one more. Like 24 lands should be enough. You know what? We might probably want to go 25. Can I cancel? Okay, I can cancel. Cut this Cavalier. Play a Fabled Passage. Yeah, no, I was actually very surprised that worked out. Canceling is pretty much always auto queue. You could have a like minute and a half no opponent, and then as soon as you click we're really good at drawing 2 lands. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. We added a land. We have Deputy, so I'm gonna just go Fabled Passage here. Lets us get... I'm not running Birth of Melides. Just it doesn't have much utility with Thassa. I'm playing Elspeth, Conquers Death as my Saga. Let's pretend like we have Veto. So I have Fblthp, we have 4 Elite Guardmages and 2 Cavaliers. I would play that in more of a whatchamacallit, blue-white, like, control-y deck. Can you send me your list, Chuck Beardo? It would be interesting to compare. I just threw this together, like, about an hour ago. So they upticked on Teferi, thinking we were control. So they're a land off from Kaya's Wrath. So this island notably can allow them to cast it. They can Ashiok. They hold up lands. Let's just go another Elite Guardmage here. Helps us get closer to Thassa. You know what? I should have waited to get the utility out of playing that line. Thought Erasure means they're digging. Probably take Cavalier here. Banishing Light's also an interesting one. They take the Cavalier. So I actually... Ooh, that's sweet. So let's attack first. So I'm going to go Cavalier first. And then play Temple if I want to scry something away. Which is likely this time wipe. So let's put... you and you on top, put Time Wipe on top, and then Temple of Enlightenment it away. I'd imagine they play Dream Trawler. Okay, so they have the Kaya's Wrath, they get Teferi back. We don't want lands now. They probably down tick with Teferi because they want to hit their land. So I think we get this going. Let me take a look. The triple Banishing Light is actually really good against control. Okay, so you're going more enchantment base, so you went heavier on the Arcanist Owls. This makes 2 bodies. So they opted to get rid of Deputy of Detention there. We can get back a Guardmage. How have you found Cavalier done? I just cut it from the list. I wasn't too impressed with it. There wasn't really times I wanted to cast it. I'll try out the Birth of Miladi's plan. Like I said, I ended up only really... This is our 4th... So we played a best of 3 where we went to all 3 games. Actually, Cavalier of Gales looks sweet here. Blocks this really well. Put a counter on it. So I want to protect this from discard because we're not casting it this turn. Yeah, I think the owls aren't too bad. They turn on Thassa by herself. So here we can hold up the Castle Ardenvale as well if they have a board wipe. We can make a 1/1. If they flash this in, then it means they probably don't have. Okay, so they just Brazen Borer here. Again, likely suggests they don't have. They're also stuck on blue mana, so they couldn't bounce and flash one in. Legion's End fizzles the spell. Oh, it shuffles on top, so we actually lose it. Okay, so they Ashiok, and then they concede. Okay, not bad. So we lost more games to us just kind of screwing up with lands. Obviously some work. Probably end up tweaking this a bit. So this is the other version, and I could post it on YouTube as well. So this is the other one I was playing around with. This is completely untuned just yet, but similar idea. The advantage is you get a Boreal Grazer, Risen Reef, Oro as ramp. You get Neoform to help you find your Thassas. Night of Autumn tends to be pretty much just removal against creatures and enchantments in this format. You get a Tollsmere on the top end and a Great Henge. So you can tend to just draw a bunch of cards with this deck, and it's a little bit easier to get ahead mana-wise. So I could probably play this one for video as well afterwards. But I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks as always for stopping by. If you missed any part, I'll have this up on YouTube later. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.